This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, and welcome to the next group coaching call of the Sales Fast Track program. Today, we will start with a mini masterclass that I prepared, and the masterclass is on how to get testimonials and use them in your marketing so you can get more clients and, of course, more sales. The objective of this training, like if you are getting started in the coaching space with the coaching business, you will always want to prioritize gathering some social proof first. Testimonials help your marketing by, I would say, 80% or even more, and they show to your potential leads that you can deliver on what you promise. And the best thing is that it actually provides you with an opportunity to practice your coaching skills. So who this training is for? This training basically is for everyone, not only beginner coaches, but also advanced coaches who have clients and want to get testimonials from them. If you identify anyone that you might think will need your services, then you want to deploy this method. I want to make this disclaimer. If you have no clients yet, this should be your first and number one goal. Instead of trying to get these paid clients for free, $5,000, $10,000, please first start with this. Some might say, oh, but this way I'm devaluing myself. No, you're not. You have no social proof. How do you expect people to trust you and pay you, let's say, $5,000 if you have no social proof? First thing is always, always, always social proof. From the psychological biases that I share with you, you know how powerful social proof is. And if you can't leverage this, it's hard to close sales. I'm not saying it's impossible. Yes, it's possible, but it is super hard. But psychologically, subconsciously, deep down, you know, and you need this practice to get some practice with delivering your service, get some practice speaking with people, because if this is the first time you're doing sales, you're closing people, it is hard. It would be hard, especially because it is first time. So this training, as I mentioned, for people who are getting started, I recommend them get testimonials by exchanging a free coaching session for a testimonial. For people who have clients, you can just get clients from your existing clients by using this method. And I'll first of all explain you this straight line of messaging, which means how and what is the formula, the structure for messaging when it comes to getting testimonials from other people so we can build them in our marketing. Like the straight line of messaging, super simple. We need to understand, first of all, what is the goal? The goal and the purpose of conversion conversations, simply to build trust as quickly as possible, establish you as the authority figure, ultimately, so we can book the call. Like, as always, the end goal is to book a call, but for people with no clients, we don't book a call to get a client, we book a call to get a free to give a free coaching session in exchange of what? Video testimonial. I want to highlight this video testimonial, not just a random text testimonial. Yes, they work, but video testimonials is what we are trying to get here. And the straight line is super simple. Establish rapport, then we understand the situation, pains, desire, obstacles, and we book a call. This structure is the same as the other structure when it comes to booking normal type of sales calls. The only difference is that we just book people for call, where we will give them a free session in exchange of testimonial. And first, I want to cover some best practices. These best practices are applicable here and in any other situation when you do sales. The first thing to remember is that you are talking with a human being, a real human being. So you want to treat the conversation in messages just like one. You don't want to be quote unquote a robot, do mechanic, messaging, copy pasting. This is the worst thing you can do when chatting with people. Why? Because we are chatting with real people, and no one wants to chat with robots. If they want to chat with robots, they will just go and chat with ChatGPT, not with you. The next thing is to not send long paragraphs. That's a huge one. Again, I will remind you, the attention span we have nowadays is super low, first of all. Second of all, when you send long paragraphs, people have this sense that this is, a copy-pasted messages, and most likely they will not read it. What I do personally when I see like long law of text, I'm busy. I can't read this. Your prospects, they're busy. They cannot read this. Like separate it in a few messages, I would say for 1 to 2 sentences, just send a new message. The best advice I can give you is to chat like a 14-year-old teenage girl. Send 1 to 2 sentences per message. Use Slack like LOL, haha. Just be a human. Once again, I want to remind you about this. Don't be overwhelmed with messages. That's a huge one. Just send a few lines, get them to respond, then respond with a few more lines. You want to keep control of the conversation. That's, I would say, something I've noticed many of you don't do. Remember, you are the authority figure. You are the doctor. You have to be the one guiding the conversation in this direction. Rapport, understanding the situation, booking the call. That's it. You want to keep control of the conversation. The only purpose of the conversation is to book a call. We are not there to chit chat. We're not there to, I don't know, we're just here to book a call. That's it. And of course, don't waste time giving coaching in Messenger, trying to solve the problems to be this person. No, you're trying to find a problem, you offer a solution through a call, and on the call, you close them and get them as clients. If you're about to give a coaching session, naturally, we tend to do that because we want to show other people that we know a lot of stuff. Simply affirm and acknowledge what they say. That's what I want you to do. Don't give long sessions in Messenger. It's not to coach them. Yes, give them free value or anything else, but don't coach them in Messenger. And the best practice, of course, is always to start with hot, warm leads, which means people who follow you and engage with your content, and you can slowly move towards messaging colder people. These are a few like best practices that you can implement for this strategy. And before I show you the strategy on how you can get testimonials if you don't have social proof yet, I want to give you some guidelines. For those of you who don't know, like this is some obvious things, but I still want to cover them. You can only direct message people on LinkedIn and Facebook when you're friends and connected. Not only, but this increases the chance of them seeing the message. So a small hack I can give to all of you is to add people as friends before you message them to increase the chance of the message being seen. If you're not following the person that you reach out to Instagram, you also want to follow them. Why? We just do this because the prospects will get notified and this just increases the chance of the message being seen. I again want to remind all of you here and people watching the recording, we will never get 100% response rate. That's impossible. Some people don't log in their accounts. Some people haven't logged for a long time. Some people just don't see messages from other people that they don't reply. There are many different scenarios, and expect that. Expect that many people will not see your message. So just remember that sales is just a numbers game. Important thing also is to not copy paste the same message over and over again. Why? Because it would trigger the platform that you're spamming people and it might end up blocking you. So this is advice for everyone. When you're sending opening messages, you can make some twists in every opening message. Why? Because it will show the algorithm that the message is different. Like that's how the algorithm works. It just encrypted words. That's how it looks like. It doesn't look what is the text. It just some data. Like I'm not a specialist, but I know for a fact that you should not copy paste the same message over and over again because you might end up being blocked. And next thing is that your message might end up going in the spam if you always do that. And you want to make sure that you change words, phrases, make it custom to each individual, like simply by changing their name and maybe changing the structure. I would say it is more than enough to avoid this. And now we will basically cover.
Can I ask you a question there?
Yeah,
how many can you copy paste? Because it's quite convenient to do that. But
actually, I was just going to ask that same question. Like you're right, Berkan. Of course he is. But as like Tamani's point, to add to that, it's like because it's time as well, isn't it? Because say if you do it one by one, yeah, and you change it up one by one, you'll be there forever. So like, could you like do copy and paste? What's like the number thresholds? I guess is the correct question to ask, right? For example, brand new first person you're reaching out to. Hi, can I ask you a very quick question? For example, right? How many times could or should you copy and paste that same message before twisting it up?
That's a great question. I would just recommend the way you do this. Just again, this is just general rule of thumb. There is no specific thing that works, but my recommendation is to do it like this. For example, It depends on different situations. Let's say you message people who are warm leads, they're engaging with your profile in your content and so on and so on. Like usually the message we will send is, hey, thank you for liking my post, and then we follow up with a question. I would say you can do this for, let's say, 3 to 5 people before you make a twist. But when I say make a twist, this means just change like the words or the order. But for every new person that you message, you're changing the name, of course, because we want to make it customized, which again, in some way avoids this trigger of being spammed. But to, I would say to ensure ourselves that we are actually avoiding this, that's why we make changes in the structure. Apart from that, for every new conversation, you can, let's say, make just changes in the name. This is enough. But after, let's say, 5 conversations, maybe you can, just change the question or the structure. For example, if I say this message here, hey, name, it's Berg here, how's it going? Like I will send this to 5 different people. Of course, the name will be changed. But then the next 5, I can say, hey, let's say name again, it's Berg here. I'll just change the question. And how's it going on? I can just say what's up. Just so we can make some twists so the algorithm can, just avoid what we do. That's like what you can potentially do here, but just remember the name most of the time is enough. But to ensure yourself that you're not getting blocked, you don't go in the spam, make some changes in the wording. Like that's what you can do. I hope this answers your question and give you clarity. And now I will just show you this step-by-step process that you can use for every different scenarios on how you can get people on a call and basically get a testimonial from them. Again, I want to remind you, this script that you see here is for people who have no social proof yet. And if you don't have social proof yet, your first and number one goal is to get the social proof. Why? Because it helps a lot with sales later on. It builds the confidence that you need to get these paid clients. The first step is always to exhaust family, friends, and of course, personal network. Why? Because as I told you here, you always want to start with warm leads. And warm leads are family, friends, or personal network. From your own personal network, these people, they already know you, they like you, and they trust you. So it is super, super easy to get them to commit to a simple phone call. You can start by messaging these people via text, Instagram DMs, emails, Facebook. I would recommend you to keep the conversation messaging platforms, like not email you, but if you only have the email contact of this person, yes, you can message them on email. Apart from that, WhatsApp, Messenger, Instagram DMs, these are more platforms that allow faster replies, and this is what we want to do. You just want to reach out to them as you're reaching out to a long lost friend. Hey, let's say John, it's Berg here. How's it going on, man? Long time no see. Then wait for them to respond. And of course, you want to respond accordingly. Like there is no specific script because they will say, I'll just give this brutal example, but it will drive the point home. They will say, I had a loss in my family. And you can say, oh, that's great. I'm also great. There is no copy paste message here. You just want to respond accordingly to what they answer on your message here. But let's, just give an example so you can understand this. They can say, hey, Berg, good to hear from you. Things are busy right now with work, but it is all good. You. I can just acknowledge and respond, oh, really? What is keeping you busy with your work? And I can just say, oh, everything is going well with me. Thank you for asking. If it's well with you, of course. You can maybe have a few conversations here and there with them, just so you can build up the rapport as you're reaching out to a lost friend. And then you just send them simply this message. Like we don't want to spend, of course, a lot of time messaging them, especially if they're warm leads. Just say to them, all right, now I'm building out a new program that helps, just list out who it helps, like your target audience, with getting this result. And I thought of you because of this reason. To create a really good program, I'm currently conducting a free strategy sessions where I give insane amount of value to build up my testimonial base. I was wondering if you're able, if you're available this week for us to chat. There is really no sale. This is just me truly trying to get a testimonial and giving a lot of value. And thank you for volunteering for your time. Let me know. That's the simple message you can send to get people for a call. And of course, we send this message because they are warm leads and they already know you. And of course, you want to send this to people who, look like your ideal clients. Let's say you help, again, I will just give a random example. You help women to achieve a certain result and you reach out to your male friends. It kind of doesn't make sense. You only want to reach out for people who looks like your ideal audience. And again, I want to remind you, the reason why we do this is because we want to get at least 3 testimonials that we can showcase to our future potential paid clients, plus get some practice on how to close people, how to talk with them, how the whole sales process works. Otherwise, we will be a little awkward with, the potential clients that we are about to get. That's the reason why we do this. And that's the first step to exhaust personal network. Second step is basically inbound leads. This is when you message someone. This is when someone messages you directly. These are inbound leads. People raising their hands and saying, hey, I want this. Outside of family and friends, these are the hottest leads because they came to you for advice or help. And just to let you know, there are a few kind of inbound leads, so you can be aware. The first is keyword inbound. This is when someone who messages you because you made a call to action inside one of your posts. For example, you made a post giving value and you have a keyword. Let's say at the end of your post or a story, that's why again we post stories, you could just say, DM me the word result if you want to get XYZ thing. If they DM you this specific word that you said, this is a keyword inbound lead that we get. Again, that's why creating content is super important and having call to actions. I hope it makes sense. And then,
Yes, and I also want to add to that.
yep,
Don't forget to look in the spam or the trash or whatever, because I found people responding to my thing in the trash month later,
yeah,
and now they don't reply. So
that's a great,
I was not aware that they would end up there.
that's a great reminder, Mary. Thank you for
Mhm.
saying it. I haven't mentioned it here, but thank you for mentioning it because
Yeah.
yes, we don't look at the spam, and sometimes a lot of people are there, which is like interesting, and we don't want to miss on these leads. So we have to be aware. Like what I do personally, maybe twice a week, I'll just randomly check my spam inbox just to check if someone messaged me because I don't want to miss them. But that's, for the first type of lead keyword, like when we create content and we tell people to do certain action. The second type is an interest inbound. This is a lead. Someone who just, messaged you out of the blue with no keywords, but they just simply expressed interest in your work. How can you get these leads? Again, when you create content. Otherwise, if people don't know about you, they will never message you seeking for your advice. They have to know you're a coach. How? By you providing value, by you just telling this in your messaging, in your content, in your profile, literally everywhere. That's why the foundation is always profile optimization and content. And an example of an interest lead, someone can say, hey there, I'm really interested with this new program of yours. Or hey there, I saw you're this kind of coach. Can you give me advice on this? Hey, I'm looking for your opinion on this topic. Can you just tell me about this? This is like what inbound leads are, and you want to treat both of these leads in a similar fashion. You want to respond back by first establishing some rapport. Like, let's say the breakup message can be, hey, thank you for reaching out. How's today coming along? I'm pretty good. Awesome stuff. And as you can see here, again, we don't waste a lot of time on, just messaging them because the only reason for us is to book a call, to get a testimonial that we can use in our marketing and to gain confidence in our service. There is just a small change in the message compared to this one, but here's how it looks like. Like you might have seen in my social media post, right now I'm building a new program that helps this type of people with this type of result. To create a really good program, I'm giving a free strategy session to understand what people need and gather testimonial. I was wondering if you're available for a chat this week. No selling. We just want to emphasize on this because some people are scared of being sold. But of course, it depends on the niche that we are. I will make sure that I provide insane amount of value and thank you for volunteering with your time. Let me know. That's it. That's simply the message that we use to get inbound leads for a call and get them as testimonials. And of course, the third and the last scenario where you can get people to give you testimonial that you can use in your marketing is outbound leads. This is a scenario if you have, let's say, 0 following right now, but for most of you in the program, you don't have 0 following, you have some sort of audience in your social media, or let's say you have completely exhausted your current audience to the point that you're no longer getting inbound leads, you no longer have personal contacts. Then if you haven't, let's say, achieved the goal of getting at least 1, 2, maximum 3 testimonials, it is time to do some outbound. Within outbound, again, there are some different level of temperature, and you want to start, as always, from hottest outbound first and move on. Like hot outbounds are someone who follows you, someone who comments, or someone who likes your post. Given that these people took action with you, the action is like, comment, share, engage, whatever. Here are a few variations of messages that you can say. Hey, John, so you commented or so you liked on my recent post about this. I'm really curious, what was the most helpful part about this post? Simple message. Let's say someone add you as a friend request, someone follows you, you can just say, hey, John, thank you for following me. How did you came across my profile? Again, I want to say these are just examples, you can always modify, but these are super simple so you can really understand how things work. They can just say, oh yeah, I really like the fact about this or that thing. I could really resonate with that. Or I just found you in this page. I looked at you. That you know how they can respond accordingly based on your first message. This is for hot outbound. For cold outbound, simply someone who has no prior contact with you. I would say these are people that are very hard to convert into a phone call, but it's not impossible, of course. That's why it is best that you create content aggressively and post it everywhere to at least get some kind of engagement from them, which gives them a reason to contact you. Of course, don't copy paste this word for word. You want to make it your own. If you're reaching out to a cold lead with 0 relationship, 0 engagement, you will reach out with something like this. Again, this is just an example. Hey, John, I stumbled across your profile because, and you can provide a reason. You can just say, I saw you're really knowledgeable about fitness. I saw you participate in this fitness group. I saw that you follow this fitness influencer. Like, what exactly do you do? What is your interest? Or so on. Or you can just say first name and maybe a waving emoji. Then you can send this. As a separate message, you can say, I came across your profile when I was scrolling through, let's say, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. I appreciate you, what you're up to, and I just wanted to reach out. You can see the first messages can be a lot, they can be different. The whole idea is simplicity as always. And these are, again, examples for first messages. From here, just take what they give you. Like, what do we mean here is that there is no specific script on how to continue the conversation. Continue based on how they respond to you. As I just mentioned here in the first scenario, you want to respond accordingly. We are chatting with humans, not robots. Therefore, we don't use copy-pasted scripts. Again, what they give you, you want to make a conversation from it. The only thing that we're trying to get from the conversation is these 3 things. Biggest pain point, biggest gains, aka the desired situation, and the most important is the obstacle that is stopping them to achieve the desired results they want. I want to remind you again, do not solve the problem in the conversations. Simply affirm what they're saying with phrases like, got it, makes sense, I hear you, I understand you, thank you for sharing. Yeah, that's really common from what I've seen. Just affirm and acknowledge what they told you. You are not there to coach them in Messenger. You're simply here to book a call and get a testimonial from these people. And variations you could say depending on the response. You can discover their hero state, which means their dreams or the biggest gain. You can just say something like this. That's really cool. Are you currently trying to achieve XYZ goal? For example, are you currently trying to get in better shape? Are you currently trying to achieve this goal, to be more productive, to build an online business? You just ask out of curiosity. You can potentially discover their zero state, which is the current situation. Like, where are you at now in terms of, let's say, your fitness level, of your productivity? Do you have a business you're working on? Just try to discover their zero state. And this is, I would say, the huge one, to discover the obstacle. Because the only thing we need to book a call is the obstacle, the pain point. You can get this from the beginning of the call, so you don't need to chat. You can get them, let's say, at a later stage. But the moment, I want to always remind you about this, the moment you discover the pain point, the obstacle is the only moment you booked for the call. Otherwise, people have no incentive to join a call with you. You can just say, got it. So you have mentioned to me that you're currently at, they told you about their zero state. For example, you told me that you're not satisfied with your current level. What do you think with your current fitness level? What do you think is the biggest obstacle holding you back to achieve your dream? Simple as that. We just want to find their pain point. And now that you have built trust and rapport with the lead, it is time to mention your free strategy session. How? You can just say something like this. Thank you for sharing Mr. Prospect everything with me. Actually, I help and of course try to describe the person exactly like them, achieve desired result. Of course, you want to describe exactly what they told you here, which is their desired result. And I'm building out a new program. Then you can just say, would you be free for a quick call this week so I can provide you with this or that amount of value? I just want to build my testimonial base. I'm not here trying to sell you. And that's how you do it. These are like the 3 different scenarios of how we can get people that can give us testimonials. Again, I want to remind you, we need testimonials, especially if we have no clients and if we have no social proof that we can market, because it builds up our trust, first of all. And of course, with closing people, actual people, potential clients, it helps a lot. And you can actually showcase the results that you helped other people, which will help you attract more people and make everything easier. And of course, the last thing I want to cover here is follow-ups, because this is the key to book sales calls. This is not only, for sales calls to testimonials, but for regular sales calls. The one thing you must understand is that the fortune is in the follow-ups, and the fortune is also in the frequency. I want to emphasize the frequency of follow-ups. In fact, in high-ticket sales, about 70% of the sales will come from the follow-up process. That means that if you're not following up with people, when they don't message you back, you are losing big time. Follow-ups are as important as new conversations, so we should not neglect them. When you are conversing with people in the chat, after you ask them to book a call with you, some people might ghost you. This is 100% possible. I want to prepare you. This means that they leave you on read or seen, or they simply don't respond. This can happen for a variety of reasons. They got busy, someone else messaged them, so they clicked away, they ignore you, emergency happened. This can happen for a variety of reasons. Regardless of why they ignored you, it doesn't matter. You still need to follow up with them. If you send them a message and they leave you on read, you can send them something like this. You can just say hello, question mark. You can say their name, question mark. For example, John, question mark. You can just say, still with me? Are you here? The third follow-up can be, are you actually committed to solve insert massive pain point? Then you can start to be more funny. I would say you can send some GIFs, memes. LOL, you ghosted me. What happened? Are you not interested anymore? You can just say, are you alive? Haha. Have you been abducted by aliens? Haha. You can, just be yourself, be fun, and try to follow up in a fun way. If after 3 follow-up messages they ghost you, maybe you can, I would say it's kind of safe to let it go, because that person is not really committed right now, but we can still follow up in future. After a few weeks, after a month, after a year, we can add them in our CRM so we don't forget about them. But you must remember that this is your moral and ethical responsibility to help these people with your unique solution. So it is actually selfish to let people ignore you and your help. It is in your best interest to help them. Therefore, it is in your best interest to follow up with these people. And That's how you can potentially get testimonials in the beginning when you don't have any social proof, so you can build up your base and make the process of getting paid clients way more easier. Let me know if you have any questions, uncertainties, or something that you didn't understand for this training.
I got a question, Berg.
Yep, Christy.
Hi, does it need to be a video testimonial or a written one that will do the job?
Yes, great question. Again, I want to emphasize video testimonials is what we're trying to get here. Of course, with our paid clients, when we just provide value to people, we can always screenshot the response in the text. But for the sake of building trust, for the sake of marketing, we want to get video testimonial. Like, I want to again remind you that the masterclass, is mainly applicable for people who have no clients yet, people who have no social proof. For people who have clients, there is no need to do this. But when you're getting started, it is important to get video testimonials. Why? Because other people can see that it is an actual person. It is not like something fake. They can see a face. And you probably read all of these biases, the psychological biases I shared with you, and you can connect the dots. So when people see faces, they tend to trust them more. When they see that you have social proof, they tend to trust you more. And this is like super powerful way. But simply say, yes, it needs to be a video testimonial.
And we're going to show their face in the video or the blurred thing?
My recommendation is to have it showed, but let's say for some reasons they're not comfortable, there is something, yes, you can blur them. But again, I would say that here in this situation, you want to choose people, like, because what we do, we give a free session in exchange of testimonial. You want to choose people who are willing to give a video testimonial. So you want to make it very clear. Like, I want video testimonial. If you don't give me video testimonial, this probably might not be the best thing for you, but I can still give you these resources and they can still give you some testimonial. But our main goal is to get 1, 2, 3 video testimonials, but you can still get other testimonials, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you also for the question. Let's see if someone else might have a question on this, on what we discussed.
I don't really have a question. It's more of a statement.
Mm-hmm.
I find that what's worked for me lately is getting out. It's not to say that I'm cold, but because I'm so emotional, I find that what's worked for me is to get out of my emotions and to be a bit shameless and to not take things personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that, like, and I've always voiced this, like, I always have been an advocate lately for learning how to become detached. So that, because if you think about it, everything's energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like really emotional, which I'll be the first to admit I am for a guy especially, your energy is being depleted. Now that's not to say you become cold, and I've said this before, but like what I'm saying is by learning to be detached and being shameless, I find that A, I'm improving a lot within myself in my personal life, and B, I'm attracting more people with DMs lately by being shameless, by not giving an F, by just doing what I've got to do and getting out of my learn to be detached, you know? So
Yeah, that's a good lesson, Chris. And of course, one thing I want to show, and of course, to just further elaborate on this, when he says, of course, not being emotional, I would just remind you about one of the forces that leads to irrational decisions. Emotion is the #1 enemy of client acquisition. Client acquisition is the process of getting clients. It's the reason why most people fail. And there is 2 reasons why most people fail. Like, one of the reasons, like 2 rules to follow, basically. The first one is to never make a decision around client acquisition when you are in emotional state, especially a strong emotion. The stronger the emotion is, the longer you need to wait to make a decision. And you always want to make changes for your client acquisition systems based on data, not emotions. It doesn't matter how you feel or what you hope, you just have to like avoid being emotional in the client acquisition process. Then this correlates to what I told you here, is to keep control of the conversation. If you're being emotional, like let's say someone says something bad or someone doesn't respond the way you want, you react, you're being emotional, obviously you can't keep control of the conversation. For us as coaches, as authority leaders, we have to keep control of the conversation. Otherwise, we just lose the sale, or whoever is in control of the call, of the chat, is the person who will win and who will guide the conversation. If you're not in the control of the conversation, how you will guide the conversation towards the end goal we want? Book the call, get them as clients. It can happen. It will not happen. That's why it is super, super important to basically do this to be able to successfully achieve this.
Yes, but there is a difference though between being authentic and mixing your emotions in the sales process. You know, coming across as authentic and emotional is not. I don't see that as. It's nothing weak with that, is it?
Yeah.
I think it's really, you know, just being who you are, Chris, and I think that is a beautiful thing, and I think that will attract people. But then again, like if you get emotional in the sales process, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's a great point. And it's also like, because you don't want to become too detached to where the leftovers are left safe for a relationship. So we need to like merge emotion and detachment together, I feel, right? Because it's like Miley says, authenticity, that's what is going to give you the edge, if you will, above others who are being too generic, right? But at the same time, yeah, it's like if we're in an emotional state and we have that massive rush of dopamine, it's true. When that dopamine hit, and I see what Backhand's saying as dissipated, has gone, then we think differently, isn't it, in our soul, and we go more logical. So that's really true also, and something to be mindful of as well. But maybe a little bit of emotion, authenticity above emotion, right? But learn to be detached whilst it's just balance, right? It's hard, but
Exactly. You said it perfectly. I just want to, elaborate further on my point because some people might misunderstand this and I don't want them to do that. And just let me explain why, this is a problem and what do I mean when I say that emotion is an enemy in client acquisition. This is again a force that leads to irrational decisions. That's why it is a problem. Emotion, as I said, is the number one enemy of client acquisition. It's the reason why most people fail. And here's the actual issue. You have your current state in business, like in the now, your current state in business, that's one of the issues. And of course, you have the goal, which is your desired situation in business. This is in future. Both your states, the now and the future, they create strong emotion. Of course, the state we are now with business is pain, desperation, suffering, unhappiness, fear, anxiety, panic, sadness, hate. Why? Because we want to escape it. We want to achieve this dream results that we want to make a certain amount of money. And this future state also creates emotion. It creates pleasure when we achieve the goal, creates freedom, joy, happiness, confidence, love. And to bridge the gap between the now and later, what you have to do? You have to solve the problem of client acquisition. Why? Because simply to go from where you are right now business-wise to where you want to go, like to make a certain amount, you need clients. How do you get clients? Through the client acquisition process, specifically messaging. So what? Your entire emotional condition and technically your life hinge on client acquisition. This means emotionally, you're extremely sensitive to things that happen to you in your client acquisition systems and processes. Coaches, entrepreneurs that are trying to grow are more emotionally sensitive to client acquisition than almost anything else in their business. Why? Because their transformation relies on the client acquisition. That's why we tend to be more emotional in this process. And this is the reason why client acquisition is so hard. I hope you understand it now. Because your business literally relies on client acquisition, we tend to feel a strong emotion to this. Therefore, this is something hard. The more emotionally sensitive you are to the client acquisition, the more irrational you're going to be. Thus, the more mistakes you're going to make. and we want to avoid, of course, making mistakes. But why are these emotions like a problem? I want to understand this. Emotions themselves are not the problem. It's what they encourage that is the problem. Like the consequence of emotions is the problem. For some context, emotion originates from the word emovere. This is a Latin word which means move. Emotions encourage movements. In other words, emotions encourage action. Almost all emotion cloud your judgment and encourage us to make decisions, and therefore take actions that are not right for us. Positive emotions are as destructive as negative one. What if not controlled? This is a huge one, if we are not controlling them. Common emotions that interface with client acquisition. I'm, of course, now talking business-wise. I'm not talking about relationships, life, whatever. I'm just relating this to business. For client acquisition, we can feel different emotions like anger, fear, confidence, surprise, sadness, happiness, joy, excitement. You can read them. And I told you the 2 rules we have to follow: to never make decisions about client acquisition when emotion is present. This means if someone triggers you when you're having a conversation, you are, let's say, not feeling well because someone is not replying to you and they told you, I want to become your client, and now they're not replying. If you are emotional, you most likely make irrational decision, reply the wrong way, feel bad, make wrong decisions about your whole business just because of this one thing. And that's what I mean when I say to just leave your emotions out when you are doing client acquisition. And of course, you always want to make decisions based on data. Like someone might say, hey, Berg, I can't book clients. It's not working. And ask them, how many messages have you sent? What is your reply rate? And they say, what is this? I don't know this. I just feel this doesn't work. No, you don't feel. We have to see based on data. Where is the problem? Otherwise, we're just guessing what happens. So my recommendation is to learn how to watch and observe your emotions. You can do this via meditation, 5 minutes every day, just watch your breath. Like that's what I mean when I say that emotion is the problem. Not the emotions themselves, but what they encourage. So advice for everyone here. When you do messaging, detach yourself of the outcome. Like that's the most important thing. Just do what you're supposed to do and don't, like, I would say, involve your emotions into this, and just do it. Because when you attach your emotions, certain things will happen, we'll feel bad. And this is the reason why messaging is hard, because we put out our emotions. Just leave them. Like that's what I do. For me, messaging is just a repetitive process. I don't think about it. I just do it. Yes, sometimes I feel emotions, a lot of times actually, when people don't reply the right way, when I don't achieve the outcome I want, but I just realize this is part of the process. It is part of the journey. So just keep moving. And that's like an advice I can give to all of you. Yeah. Let me know again if someone wants to maybe add something about this, want to ask a further question what we discussed. Of course, you can ask questions on something else that you struggle or you want to be solved. So we are just like opening the floor for live Q&A, and let me know if you have any questions.
We've been talking about the emotion stuff like for a long time, right? So I just wanted to share as well, like, yeah, like as Burkan said, it's not the emotions that are the problem, but I think it's like just to be really focused in business, like on your results, right? About like making money or like basically getting your clients, right? So that's the whole focus. And then like if you get like distracted from that or emotional about it, that like, oh, I'm not succeeding, or like get sad or angry or upset about it, then like that's the whole problem with it, right? So just to stay focused and really like take it as the data, like you said, right? Like just a factual thing that, okay, this is what I need to do and this is the result that I'm getting. And like a business, like think about it like logically, right? Like to, yeah, leave the emotions out of it, because like I know like from my posts, like when I do put emotions into it, it does attract the people, because and like in that area, like in posting, they do need to connect with you emotionally, right? And so we need to share stories from our life and things that worked for us and the journeys that we've taken in the stories that we've been on that connect with them on the emotional level. But then with the client acquisition, it's just like a logical process, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You understood this perfectly, Jennifer. I hope also others got the idea of this. Specifically, when we leave.
Yeah.
Apart from that, we always want, especially in content, the more emotions you put, the more you emphasize on this, the
Yeah.
better your audience can connect with you and the more you can nurture them.
Mhm.
But for client acquisition,
Mhm.
just look at it as just part of the business. Don't attach your emotions. As I told you, your business relies on client acquisition. So if we put emotion on this and we don't get immediately the results we want, which is most likely to happen because things take time, we tend to feel frustrated, we tend to make irrational decisions and just feel bad generally. We want to avoid that, just want to do the work. Yes, it's repetitive, it's robotic, but specifically in this part of the business, that's what it takes. I hope you get the point now.
Yeah, so it's kind of like fishing, like catch them like with the emotion and then like reel them in, bring them in with logic, right?
Yes. Yeah, one quote I heard is that you want to sell people on what they want and give them what they need. That's again related to this. You just sell them on the transformation, on like what they want to achieve, and in the program you just give them what they want. Then the same principle actually applies in everywhere in business. Give them what they want and teach them what they need. By the way, let me just also, I just noticed that we have a pre-submitted question from Chris. I just want to cover it if there are no other
Always.
respect for that, because the more questions someone have, the better, because it seems that this person tries to understand the business, how everything works, and respect for that, Chris. I always want to encourage everyone here, ask as many questions as possible. The first question, yes.
And may I just quickly say, sorry to interrupt you.
No worries.
Apologies for that. May I just say, I've done a lot of introspection lately, and I've got something really nice, I feel. They're not just for myself, but for everybody. I'm going to post it on the school platform later. What I did was, because first of all, I've been doing a lot of introspection. I'll tell the story really quickly. So every Wednesdays is like my son's PE day, right? And long story short, mother-in-law wants me to help him. So Wednesday, I can't get to do much work. So anyway, my point is, here's my point. I thought I can't do anything much on Wednesday regarding work. So let me go over the school community thread timeline, right? Now, hear me out, I'm going somewhere with this. And I went through the timeline, I believe, from like late February to present day. So 5 months ago. So here's my main point. Look at like I've taken pictures of what I feel is like what resonates most to me, right? And I'm going to post it because what I'm saying is not just for myself, but for others. It's going to show the trajectory slash journey of where we were, right? Our personalities, our thought prowess, our progression through the school platform back then to where we are now, right? And I feel that it's going to be a great thing, not just for me, but for other people. Does that make sense? Giving value. But also regarding that, I would analyze myself. And have you noticed on today's meeting, like I'm getting better at shutting up and keeping quiet and not to dominate, because I feel that I do talk a lot and I'm learning to say more of less, but also pause, let others talk, to have the flow rather than talk. That's why, like, when others like are quiet, part of me wants, because like silence to me is like I feel awkward, but then no, resist, shut up, let others talk. And then Lenka spoke, right? So that's what I wish to say in introspection, and I'm going to give value to the school platform later and the showcase, the journeys and blah blah blah, So.
I appreciate it, Chris. And yeah, like this is a valuable lesson that's also applicable, I would say, for all of us, especially in sales. We have to like analyze ourselves, observe what we do, so we can improve. There is no other way. Like, you can just do the same things and expect different results. No, do it, see what you do right, wrong, do more of the right things, do more of the wrong things. This is the best way, especially to improve on sales goals. But now to answer your questions here, question number 1. I have noticed a dip in my Facebook story engagement, as lately I have been uploading the baby hives into my stories to showcase the viewer the entire journey. So my question is it normal due to change? Yes, my answer is yes, it is normal due to change. And also it depends on how many stories you post. You can give it time. This is what is always needed, so the audience can get used to this. But I would just say, when you upload stories, a general rule of thumb that's applicable for everyone, maximum try to upload any 5 stories, because when you have 5, 10, 20 stories, most likely people will not watch. Most of them will drop off. Like, this is for 100% of the accounts in Facebook and Instagram. The more stories you have, the more people will drop off. That's why you want to put the most important things in 3 to 5 stories and do this daily. Let's say you want to post 20 stories. Separate them in 4 days. Don't post them at once, because when someone, let's say, opens their profile, they will see first. They will see you first if you upload stories daily and consistently. But if you upload one day 20 stories, in the next 5 days you don't upload anything, you'll be basically on the last of this list. Most likely people will not even see you or discover you. The whole idea, consistency, every day. That's it. We don't want to have this ups and downs, like this cycles. Consistency is what we're trying to achieve. Why? Because the most people, again, see you on the stories, the more they see your content, the more they get familiar with you, the more they trust you, the easier the sales process is. That's it. For the second question, lately I have noticed share to the Instagram option on Facebook. Although I hardly use Instagram, I'm on there and I gained a like. So should I focus on Instagram as well? I would say no, don't do that, Chris. In the beginning, only one platform is what we need. The more you have, the more like spread it you are, and it adds more complexity to your business. We want simplicity only when you master a certain platform or you reach the limit, which takes a lot of time. Only then you can discover other platforms. For now, just one platform is enough.
That's completely understood. Just a couple of, first of all, is there anybody else that wishes to speak? I know I talk a lot, or should I?
Let's see if someone else have a question. If no, we can cover your questions.
That's okay. You can go ahead, Chris.
Okay, I appreciate that. So, like, just a couple of quick things. First of all, to your point, it resonates with me halfway regarding the Facebook stories, because I do upload daily. So I am consistent in that area, although it's, as you say, I probably upload far too many stories. That's the problem. And in terms of attention span, the microwave society that we're in, unfortunately, it's just the way it is now. So is it 3 to 5 stories a day is better, right? Do that daily.
That's a general thumb. For every audience, it's different, but first of all, try, let's say, with 5 stories. For a few days, see what is the story views. Then go to 4, see what is the story views. Like, do this for a week or 2, and then how we make decisions based on data. You're going to see, like, let's say 3 stories per day, you get the most views. Then do 3 stories per day for the rest of like the business, of course. That's how you do it. Because if you just say now, I think or I feel today I upload 4 stories. No, we just do decisions based on data.
Completely understood. And I literally just 10 seconds on this question. Although, one platform's best, but should I, because on Facebook stories, you've got the Insta share. So while sharing stories, shall I just click that? Because I already got a like. My point is not to be engaged in Insta, but if somebody liked me from Insta, they might come to my Facebook, isn't it? So maybe if it's automatic and it's going to take literally 2 clicks, I may as well, right?
Yes, you can do it. But of course, when I answered your question, I meant to not focus on, again, using Instagram as a different platform. If you want, you can just like put this option, like always upload. They can
like, because whilst you're uploading the story, it's got the Insta. I think it's a new feature, isn't it? Exactly. It's synchronized. How do you say? In sync, or it's
synchronized. Yeah,
it's synchronized. So my point is, you could do that, and if don't go to them, but if you got a like, they could come to you, isn't it? In that regards, perhaps, isn't it?
Yeah, that's actually right. You can do it, just put the option on, but of course it's not mandatory. It's all up to you.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you also for the question, Chris. We have 3 more minutes. Let me just double check once again. If someone else have any questions, concerns, or everything is clear so far. Yeah, seems like we don't have any questions. Once again, I want to appreciate all of you for being here on the call. I hope the training was helpful and valuable for you. But to make it helpful and valuable, I would expect you to implement what you learned. Again, I want to remind you, this is applicable for people who have no social proof yet. Please do this and get social proof. Then the whole sales process will be way more easier, and you would thank yourself that you took action on this in future. So the training will be uploaded in a few hours because I have to go now. I have a few things to take care of. You can upload it if needed. You can rewatch it. The resource will also be linked in school. You can download it if you need. Then let's take massive action. I will speak to you again on Monday and hope you have a great rest of your day.
Much love, guys.
Thank
Thank you.